Okay, the next speaker is Sheriff Baca, former Sheriff of LA, but our distinguished member of the IMAN.
Thank you, Dr. Namazikhah, and this is really wonderful for me to be invited back since I have no power anymore.
You have here.
But the panelists have been extraordinary in what they've been expressing and sharing with us, and so what I'd like to do is just say this. One of the great privileges of being a human being is that our biggest responsibility, as opposed to everything else that lives, the animal kingdom and so forth, is that we have an obligation to learn. That the human mind is probably the greatest conduit to divine thinking. That the concept of whether your body is who you are or your intellectual spirit is who you are, is something that should be discussed as well. That I've spoken to virtually all the religious leaders, and next month my wife and I will go to Korea, Seoul, for a purpose of representing the World Peace Organization, which all the faiths will be in attendance there. Now, the point of the divineness of being a human being is that as we grow in history, if you look back at the beginning of civilization, which is a good thing to do, you'll find that there was no written language, and that tribalism is what sustained the growth of those societies that existed. But they had to converge at some point, and that's how nations were formed, to protect each other, because protection became the #1 threat to any one of these ancient societies. So therefore, where I would like to summarize, Islam, from what I've been taught by my dear friends who are Muslims, is a religion of peace, love, and justice. The word justice, however, seems to be hard to attain on a universal basis throughout the world. So therefore, we have to take action with that word. And I agree with Rabbi Gotlieb that action speaks louder than words. Your presence here is a form of action. It is the action of listening and participating. The leadership of Imam is well established. As you can see, we all come back. But it's so that we can have a greater expression of learning and making a difference through actions. Actions are not merely beliefs. They are beyond beliefs. That the universe was an action of God. But the expectation of God's greatest love is not in the planets and the universe. It's in the fact that God created human beings. And humanity is something that God cherishes the most. So our actions have to be in concert with our origins, and that we summarize what we are in a way that says, if we believe in heaven and that we will reach that promised place, there is no place in heaven for one religion over here, another religion over there, and another one in that region of heaven. It is going to be all in the spirit of what God wants, and the lessons that we'll learn when we go to heaven are something we should look forward to. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Okay, from former Sheriff of the LA County to the future Sheriff of LA County, I invite Chief McDonnell to come to the podium.
Pleasure. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Dr. Namazikhah, for, again, your invitation here, and to the Imam Center for the leadership that's shown throughout for setting the tone in the region. Ramadan is a time for all of us, not just those of the Muslim faith, to think and to reflect. In our lives today, we're guided more by the iPad, the iPod, the iPhone, and all the other stuff. And Facebook and Twitter and everything else is such a distraction to really people dealing with people face to face, eyeball to eyeball. We text people when they're in the next room rather than taking the time to be able to have that engagement on a personal level. LA and the United States really is a unique place in the world where people of all faiths, customs, beliefs, languages can come together and get along. And to be able to work and bring the richness that each group represents, the richness of their tradition, bring it together so we can all be better as we move forward. As we heard here today, and as you all more than well know, we're going through a tough time today in the world, and we're reminded of that each and every day. I listened to the dialogue here on the panel, and again, very impressive. I heard Father Alexi mentioned that we all are really a call to all of us to action, to hold each other accountable. Because when it comes right down to it, peace, or in our business, crime, and treating each other with some level of dignity and respect is everybody's responsibility. And we can't push it off and say the police need to do this, or someone else needs to do this, or the faith community should do this. It's all of us. It's a team sport. Otherwise, if one of us fails, we all fail. And too often we focus on somebody else should do it, a sense of entitlement, a sense of it's someone else's responsibility. Each and every one of us has to step up as human beings to be able to be what we can be. We had an incident in the past couple of weeks, and I'm currently working in the city of Long Beach as their chief of police, and we had an incident where a woman was assaulted. She was wearing the hijab, and a person came behind her and made reference by name to what she was wearing, so he was familiar with what she had on, and grabbed it and pulled her and injured her, and then left. No attempt at robbery or anything. It was just an assault based on, in our mind, the religion and the scarf, the hijab. And I look at that, and when we think about that on a faith level, a religious level, I grew up Catholic, and people would go to church and women would wear a scarf over their head, and basically to honor the Mother Mary. And much the same, it's a sign of respect. And what we saw was a complete level of disrespect in doing what that individual did. So we are investigating that as a hate crime. We are moving forward and setting the message very clearly that we will not tolerate as a society that kind of behavior. But too often we see it, and if we allow someone else to take the responsibility for fixing those kind of things, then we get more of the same. When we stand up and say enough is enough, much as the reference to Bosnia and Herzegovina earlier, it lessens. We tend to focus too much on our differences rather than our similarities, whether it's faith, language, custom, or whatever, what part of the region of the world you're in. When we focus on all of us as human beings, we come to a much different place. So I want to just say thank you for your leadership, each and every one of you. Religion is a set of guiding principles for all of us to live the right way, to live based on a foundation of respect as we move forward. So Eid Mubarak, happy Eid, and thank you all very much.
Mr. Bill Lewis, the director of the FBI. He was here the first. He was the first person who was here.
So, yeah, it kind of shocks people nowadays when the FBI shows up. But I want to say, gentlemen, this is my second year. I could sit here for another 2 hours and listen to you, each and every one of you. We'll fast for another 2 hours. One of the goals that I've made when I came here 2 years ago was to increase our community outreach. I had two incredible role models. Sheriff Lee Baca, a man who I to this day still respect. Mike Downing with the Los Angeles Police Department and his group, all of the work that you've done is incredible. You know, as of late, there's been some distrust in the federal government, the NSA, the FBI. I will tell you that we have oversight from our Congress that watches what we do. I think there's still some explaining to do. I think there's still some community outreach that needs to be done to make sure that all of you have the trust in the FBI and all the other entities that are here. My goal is to protect this great nation and protect all of you. Unfortunately, because of these devices, things have they've taken a different change over the past couple of years. But again, that's something that I owe to everyone in this room, is to build that trust up so that you know that we're not out there. I would much rather not open any cases on anyone. I would love for the community to take care of that problem, and the community is taking care of that problem, because gentlemen like these are becoming involved, have always been involved, but are taking it to the next level. I really wish that Salam had been here. What Impact is doing with their PI, prevention, intervention, and ejection, the different programs that they're coming up with is way that the community is working on it. So again, I want to thank all of you for being here. But gentlemen, this has absolutely been the best time that I've spent in a long time, and I very much appreciate it.
I think everybody at IMAN knows Chief Downing. Chief Downing is the chief of the anti-terrorist. That's a good place to be. And the friend of IMAN, and he is very essential in the LAPD Muslim Forum. I think that the ideas that you have to bring the people together and communication, I appreciate the presence of the LAPD officers here too, and as well as my captain or sheriff sergeant.
Thank you. Thank you to the panel for your enlightenment. I am a longtime friend of IMAN, and I think I've been coming here now for 6 or 7 years, and every time I come here, I walk away learning something new. And let me begin by saying Assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Mubarak, and Eid Mubarak. You know, today we've heard so much about the tension and conflict in the world and how it's easy to feel depressed and to feel your spirit is taken away, and you just throw your hands up and you say, what can we do, what can we do? But I think there is something positive about where we are today as a community, as a city, as a country, living in this country, and how we're allowed to live in the country. How we deal with discourse, how we deal with disagreement. And everything is not perfect here, but we operate in a different manner. As the Congresswoman said, wouldn't it be great to have this panel be advisors to the White House, to DHS, to the federal government, because they are grassroots, they are on the ground, they know what's happening, they feel it. And I think that is an answer. I mean, I think what we have here is not the perfect model, but it's a really great model for the rest of the world to see how we approach things, how we innovate, how we bring ideas forward, how we disagree, how we're allowed and encouraged to demonstrate and protest as long as it's not violent, how we can change things, how we can reform policies. That's really the great thing about this country. I've been to maybe 6 or 7 iftar dinner celebrations, and I've seen the Humanitarian Day in downtown LA. And I think I've seen the greatest expressions of humanity in this last 30 days in terms of what the Muslim communities have brought to our nation, to our city, and to our community. Feeding the hungry, clothing the unclothed, providing medical care for people in desperate need of medical care and dental care, and just people serving people. That's what it was really about. I know the last 10 days of Ramadan is supposed to be about forgiveness. I've seen the great power of forgiveness in this community as well. And those kinds of lessons, when you allow the broader community to come in and experience this tradition, this holy month that you have, they walk away as better people. And I think we are a better country, we're a better city, and we're a better community because of the Muslim communities that we are friends with. Thank you.
Mr. Ali Sajjad Taj, the City Council member of the Artesia.
Distinguished guests, Honorable Congresswoman, Rabbi, fathers, Imams, ladies, gentlemen, good evening and Salam Alaikum. It gives me a great pleasure to be here tonight, and I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Namazikhah for inviting me here tonight. Thank you so much. As you all know, that the concept of fasting is intrinsic to all faiths and all religions of the world. The underlying principle, ladies and gentlemen, is self-sacrifice, discipline, and humility. It reminds us of the value of tolerance, forbearance, creates bias for the grace in recognition of human search for virtue of self-purity. At this moment in human history, ladies and gentlemen, a religion should serve as a binding force for modern societies and acting as a moderating guide to public and private interaction, instead of being hijacked by extremists and terrorists. So investing in a dialogue, promoting pluralism, respect for each other's beliefs are the ways nations, communities, and people will build bridges of peace, cooperation amongst each other. At the end of the day, all faiths teach tolerance, forgiveness, and acceptance. And tolerance is the key ingredient and unified principle in humanity that upholds human right and rule of law. We gather here today, ladies and gentlemen, as not people of a particular faith, but people of all faiths, as people who are willing to be tolerant of those around us and showing that tolerance in most accepting of the ways. Breaking bread with one another shows that we as humanity have progressed to a point where interfaith dialogue is not only a possibility, but a common practice for communities to continue to coexist. It is important to remember that before we are Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Christians, Jews, Muslims, atheists, or for that matter, anything, we first and foremost are human beings. And in order to continue to coexist peacefully, we must be tolerant and accepting towards each other's faiths and beliefs. I encourage continue to have these dialogues. I too have been associated with IMAN Center for last almost about 6 years. At the end of my speech, I'd like to actually ask everyone to join me in prayer for peace, harmony, mutual respect, and greater religions for tolerance. Thank you. In addition to that, today Dr. Namazikhah actually spoke to my heart when he said that in addition to having interfaith dialogue, he's also going to have on October 12th intrafaith dialogue, which is also very important, and that is something that I've been actually wanting to have. So thank you very much, Dr. Namazikhah. With that, I also would like to recognize his service to not only just here in Los Angeles, but throughout Los Angeles and throughout Los Angeles County. I'd like to actually present him from the city of Artesia, recognition of certificate. Thank you, Dr. Namazikhah, for what you have done. We really appreciate that.
Okay, I think that we had the sheriff, we had chief of police, and we had FBI. Now we have the inspector general. That's Alexander Bustamante. You're totally covered.
Thank you for inviting me. I know firsthand from growing up how important these dialogues are. I know because my mother was an immigrant from Iran, practicing Muslim, and my father was Roman Catholic. So every day I saw the interrelationship between these two religions and the beauty of these two religions and how they work so seamlessly together. I saw that the two religions shared almost all the same tenets. Love of your fellow man, be good to others, take care of the poor and those in need. It was only when I was growing older that I see that the things unfolding outside in the world and the United States, that things became so difficult and so hard for people to handle, in contrast to which was so easy for me. So I know these dialogues are so very, very important and so very difficult to have. And I just commend everyone for coming here and commend all our speakers, because I've seen firsthand how difficult and how painful it can be, but actually how necessary this all is. Thank you very much.
Okay, I want to assure everybody that the Iranians, except one person, recognizes Holocaust. We have a Holocaust survivor, Cantor Esther, who's going to sing for us as a Jewish prayer.
In 1944, we were being chased by the Nazis. And when we reached the Swiss border, my papa picked me up and he looked to the heavens and he said, "Save my daughter and she will always serve you." I was spared. I feel I was spared to be here with you today. Your people are my people, and my people are your people. Children of the world, every life, every beating heart has a searching soul inside, ever needing, ever seeking out the meaning to life. I refuse to believe that we're only here to live and die in the futile days of a faithless haze, never asking why would I? When I've felt the hand of eternity, it's a legacy I will leave, I want to leave. For the children of the world, every single boy and girl, heaven plants a special seed, and we must have faith for these. I will stand for the truth with you, with all of you, and the world, for the truth to be heard and seen. I will give from the source of love, from the source of care, so that I believe what all is handed down for the road that yet to be traveled on. By the ones who will carry on, I will carry on. For the children of the world, every single little boy and girl, heaven plants a seed. And we must have faith for these. Red, yellow, black and white. They are all precious in God's sight. Like the Father, we must see that they have a destiny, and give them the light of love to lead through the darkness around us now to a place where hope is found.
My God, whom whom I worship and adore. I bear witness unto thy unity and thy oneness, and acknowledge thy gifts, both in the past and in the present. Thou art the all-bountiful, the overflowing showers of whose mercy have rained down upon high and low alike, and the splendors of whose grace have been shed over both the obedient and the rebellious. O God of mercy, before whose door the quintessence of mercy hath bowed down, and round the sanctuary of whose cause loving kindness in its inmost spirit hath circled. We beseech thee, entreating thine ancient grace, and seeking thy present favor, that thou mayest have mercy upon all who are the manifestations of the world of being, and deny them not the outpourings of thy grace in thy days. All are but poor, and needy, thou art very large, the all-possessing, the all-subduing, the all-powerful.
May you build a ladder to the stars
and climb at every rung. May you stay forever brave.
Forever brave.
Everybody join in with chanting. Shalom, everybody, shalom, shalom.
May you grow up to be righteous. May you grow up to be true. May you always do for others and let others do for you. May you always be courageous. Stand upright and be strong. May you stay.
Everybody with shalom, salam.
Forever
brave. Shalom. Shalom, let me hear your voices. Join in with shalom. Shalom, 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 shalom. My dear sweet friends, let us rise and take a moment of silence. A moment of silence. Let us rise, please. God bless you. God bless you. Bless you. We stand together. We stand together, and we will, and we are, and we will prevail, because goodness always prevails.
Now it's time for Father Alex.
St.
Please
Francis
sit
of
down. That's please. I know that some of you are hungry.
I think all of us, Doctor, are hungry.
Okay, so they're
Very
short.
briefly, St. Francis of Assisi prayed, Lord, make us all instruments of your peace. Where there's hatred, let us sow love. Amen.
Thank you. Congresswoman, Mr. Ambassador, Sheriff Baca, Mrs. Baca, Chiefs, please come forward. Diane, Mr. Bill Lewis, I want to take a picture. Police officers. Please come forward. Father Shamu.
I'm so sorry.